In the last couple of minutes, we've had an email from Downing Street relaying medical advice from St Thomas's Hospital. A Number 10 spokesman said the Prime Minister has been moved this evening from intensive care back to the ward where he will receive close monitoring during the early phase of his recovery. He is in extremely good spirits. Now, we've had quite a lot of updates about the Prime Minister. They haven't used the word extremely in connection with his good spirits before, so I suspect, yes, there is some relief in Downing Street right now. We heard last night that he was sitting up in the intensive care ward and his condition has been clearly improving, but that will be a big moment that he has left ICU after 3 nights in there and gone back to a general ward, to the relief, I suspect, of many. He went into hospital on Sunday night. I think it was quite a surprise for many in government when he went into ICU on Monday around about 7 o'clock. But now he is out. The recovery, many ministers now expect, will take some time. Nobody expects him to be back behind a desk anytime soon. But the positive progress will cheer a lot of people in Whitehall.
Indeed, it will. So moved out of intensive care back to the ward, remaining in hospital for close monitoring. And in terms of that recovery and when he might be able to start working again, there are some big decisions ahead. But we heard from Dominic Raab earlier, didn't we, that the government's got this covered?
Yes, I think Dominic Raab has been choosing his words very carefully. He was asked by the Prime Minister to deputise where necessary while the Prime Minister is effectively incapacitated. You heard Tobias Ellwood this morning claim that the Prime Minister was in a state to make decisions, but I don't think anybody in Whitehall actually expects that to be enacted anytime soon. Dominic Raab at the press conference this evening making clear that he had the authority and the ability to make any decision coming. The first of those down the track will be towards the end of next week when the government will announce almost certainly a rollover of the 3-week lockdown, continuing on the current terms, asking people to stay at home except where absolutely necessary, probably for around about another 3 weeks. Dominic Raab meeting via video link the national leaders of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland today, as well as in the last couple of hours talking to opposition leaders, including Keir Starmer, via another video link. So he is doing all of the frontman business of government. But nevertheless, it simply remains a fact that Dominic Raab is not Prime Minister. He can only deputise in areas where appropriate. And there are big decisions about lifting the lockdown, which is going to take longer. It's going to be a slower process. That's going to be weeks and months, not days, that are more tricky for somebody like the First Secretary of State and Foreign Secretary, the 2 titles that Dominic Raab hold, to take. There will be a hope, as some have been saying in Whitehall, that the Prime Minister might be back in circulation by the time you have to make those difficult judgment calls, weighing up some of the different sort of balances and demands, looking at the economy and looking at the health service that will be necessary to lift part or all of the lockdown. But Dominic Raab, yes, saying we've got it covered in a reference to the fact that the business of government goes on, Whitehall's still functioning, and meetings that need to be taken and chaired by him will continue to be done, will continue to happen.